You're smarter, more creative, more beautiful than these false digital idols. You mean to do some work, but youthful longing carries you through a carousel of procrastination. Video games, texting your friends, a phone call, and a well-deserved nap. They live the provisional life, where one does not exist really, they are only a spectator. So any experience is ghost-like, perfectly abstract, without a trace of realization.
What's good, peeps? It's your boy JP back at it again with another reaction video, and today we're reacting to Sisyphus 55. Big dog got 120 1.25 million subscribers. So y'all probably already know who he was or who he is. I've never heard of him, but we about to do a reaction, and today's reaction is the psychology of the man child. I saw this pop up, and this typically are the type of videos I watch on my own, not like react to, because I don't know how I'm gonna react to it. I just have some videos I have that I just watch to learn from, and not so much to like react to. But we gotta try something new all the time, and I want y'all to learn with me. So, because we are Prosper Gang, so hit the like and subscribe button. Join the Prosper Gang. There's a whole lot of prosperity going on around this mug. You feel me? So shout out to Sisyphus. We're about to get into the psychology of the man child. Without further ado, let's just get into the video.
After hitting snooze 3 times, you wake up later than you'd like. You scroll on your phone, sickened with the world before you.
Man, I know I'm starting off heavy already, but I do that almost every morning.
Done.
I hate that. Maybe I'm the man child. Maybe that's why I liked this video. I don't know. We're about to find out.
Influencers, celebrities, you're smarter, more creative, more beautiful than these false digital idols. And eventually you emerge from your bed to greet the day with a coffee and a cigarette.
Or energy drink. Guilty as pleasure.
You mean to do some work, but youthful longing carries you through a carousel of procrastination. Video games, texting your friends, a phone call, and a well-deserved nap. The evening light trickles in, and you are once again struck by the total inadequacy of your life. What have you done? Look at all those people who have accomplished so much. And you're an artist without art, a talent waiting to be found.
Okay, I got art. And I'm a talent that's kind of been found, not by the masses, by the people that I need to be found by. But I can definitely understand if you are one of those people, get on your shit. Now, I don't know if this is like an off day thing. Now, on my off day, I don't move like this. I got too much stuff going on, but I can understand.
There is nothing in your life that is purposeful. Everything, your relationships, your job, your beliefs, are all acceptable but never compelling. Thirst traps and doom scrolling are your anesthesia. You drift asleep and live the same day again and again and again, waiting for the moment when you'll finally grow up. Puer aeternus, or the child god, is one of Carl Jung's more well-known archetypes. Also known as Peter Pan syndrome, the man-child, or the eternal child, the puer aeternus is someone who simply will not commit to anything in the fear of surrendering to the actualities of human existence. That is, responsibility, failure, disappointment, and mortality. Instead, they live, or rather, they exist, with each day experienced as a disassociative blur leading to nothing in particular.
And sometimes I'm going to assume, right, I'm just talking, but sometimes people's feel wanting or the feel of being in control can put them in a situation where they feel like this. Like you want to be in control so bad that you actually hurt yourself more than you're hurting yourself, because I don't want to surrender to what life is told me I'm supposed to have, but living in the life that I truly want, even if it's at my own detriment. And that's a hard pill to swallow. And that is a lifelong regret that you will soon come to realize as time moves on.
As young writers,
It'll be like that one guy off these videos I've been seeing about him being 40 years old. And he ain't got nothing to show for it. Shout out to him though.
they live the provisional life, where one does not exist really, they are only a spectator. So any experience is ghost like, perfectly abstract, without a trace of realization. This sort of individual deliberately avoids any aim or target for fear of failure, inadequacy, or the inevitable transitoriness of all things. They evade stable work, stable housing, an education, or a relationship. And they do this even when such opportunities are placed directly in front of them. To involve oneself in the daily rat race is simultaneously overwhelming and beneath them. It is better to die with potential than risk finding what that potential truly is.
And the art of not wanting to fail. Because something within them say that they don't believe, like they're masking their insecurities with the ability of thinking that they can be better without actually sitting down proving that you can be better. Now, I'm definitely not the man child because I put my art and my potential on display. Cause it ain't gonna be birth into nothing unless you put it into display on something. I am not afraid to fail in public. I am not afraid to look stupid. Some people are though. Some people just don't want to fail. Like they fear it so much that they rather just live in the bubble of being told they're great without ever having to prove it. You know what I mean? And it's sad.
Why? For one, there is a powerful nostalgia. Teenage love, the archetype of the gifted child, the appeal of youth is so often found in the blossoming of things, the precipice of actuality. There is something alluring in that first kiss, in finding one's passion and discovering who you are. Like Sylvia Plath's Fig Tree, the world offers our youthful selves an abundance of choice, new lovers, friends, countries, and careers, and we often find ourselves seduced by the shade. What's the rush? To pick one thing means maturity. It means growing old and ending up disappointed. It means surrendering to contingency.
As we grow and develop,
Yeah, shout out to your sponsor, but I ain't getting paid. So, brother, man, that's not. Shout out to you though. You know, hopefully you get that bag. You know what I mean?
for sponsoring this video.
Such a nostalgia is, of course, culturally celebrated. Many of the most popular songs detail the yearnings of young love. The lyrics tend to reflect the first encounter, the pursuit, and anxiety over the attainment of the beloved. Rarely do songs romanticize the mundane or monotonous daily rhythms of the relationship itself.
Right.
Simply put, the idea of love is often more exciting than the experience itself. Can we fault these Don Juans of situationships and indecision? Maybe a little bit. But what about careers? The Bildungsroman is an entire literary genre of wanderlust protagonists soul-searching. One of my favorite authors, Hermann Hesse, has an entire catalog of novels containing young men who struggle to grow up and instead fight for the liberty of remaining innocently detached from all things. There is an endless library of books and films that capture the youthful longing for existential clarity. Will you travel to Alaska like McCandless? Will you adopt the role of the wandering vagabond a la Kerouac? There really is something about always living between the lines of who you could become. But these songs do not tell us about the relationship itself, and many of these soul-searching protagonists only exist up until the end, where the answer is finally given and some stability has been achieved.
And I want to say, because sometimes I can find myself living in the middle of where I started and who I could become. And sometimes we fall victim to falling in love with the journey instead of being in a rush to get to the destination. Uh Sometimes the journey, like I always say, especially because like I said, I'm a filmmaker, I do videos and stuff. Sometimes the feeling of being the underdog is great because of the lack of expectation. Like you're the underdog, people don't expect much, so the sky's the limit, and because they don't expect you to perform well, so you can perform well under no pressure. Compared to when you're already the man in the chair, and people expect greatness out of you, and that's where it gets a little bit more pressuring. But I do think it is important to transcend to the other side of being the man in the chair. You can't stay the underdog forever. As good as it feels, because I love creating and not being under pressure. But but at the same time, I hate not being recognized for how great I am sometimes. So it's like, oh, so you're contradicting yourself. So do you want to be in the man in the chair, or do you not want to be the man in the chair? And we can't have it both ways. You're either gonna be the underdog that always get overlooked, or you gonna be the man in the chair. But like they said, that's responsibility. Being the man in the chair means responsibility, and a lot of times we run from that. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be the one that always run from that. I like the challenge. So that's part of why this YouTube is the way it is. You know what I mean? Hit the like and subscribe button. Join the Prosper Gang. You know what I mean? Because I want to be the man in the chair. I think I really like that. And to be honest, sometimes failure isn't necessarily what you. Because sometimes when you fail, you're still great. Because nobody that's great doesn't fail. So sometimes your fail might feel different because it's you, but to everybody else, you're just another great that failed at something, and you will figure it out afterwards. Just keep going. Trust me, you ain't got it. It's other people that got it worse than you.
The finality itself rarely entails further elaboration. For those struggling in an economy that offers little certainty and a job market with few gratifying options, it actually makes sense that many would gravitate towards the illusory romanticism of what could be over what is. In short, the world already offers little in the way of clarity or closure, and so there appears to be a sincerity and at times even a heroism in never having to choose. A generation of 20-something-year-olds, soon to be 30, living on nothing but hopes and dreams. To be fair, this characterization fails to capture the charm of the puer aeternus. Many of these individuals are extremely creative and imaginative. They are capable, incredibly so, and inventive and talented and often quite smart. The eternal child is not someone who necessarily lacks true potential and is simply deluded by their own sense of superiority. Rather, they have often experienced a great deal of encouragement and verification of their skills, often in adolescence. They were gifted, they were the best in art class, they were well-spoken, articulate, quick to learn, and naturally good at the things that their classmates could never quite grasp. This is the real tragedy of the puer aeternus.
Okay, so I'm not the Pereira Turners because I was not gifted in a lot of things. If not anything, I had to earn my talents. My talents was a given, at least some of them. Maybe some I had some hidden talents I didn't know I had, but for the most part, I had to earn my talents. They weren't given. I wasn't praised from my adolescence at all. In fact, it was probably the other way around. I was always expected to fail. Like people just didn't expect much out of me. You know what I mean? Like they just like oh da, 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 and I just exceeded people's expectations because I got tired of being shitted on. I'm gonna be honest with you. I got tired of people saying I couldn't do it. So I was like, I'm gonna prove everybody wrong. So maybe I'm the opposite. But now that they pointed this out, I know some. I don't know how to pronounce what they just said. It was only easy to pronounce it right after you said it. But I know some of them type of people in my life, unfortunately. and they're a victim of their own greatness. And I think the reason why it's easier for me because I had to earn my greatness and it wasn't given to me. When it's given to you, you feel different, you see it differently. But when you had to earn it, you take more responsibility behind it because you know what it was like to not have it. And you don't want to go back to that. So you'll do whatever you can to stay on this side of the fence instead of going back to the side where you wasn't the gifted one. Because I know, but if you want to, well, I tried out for basketball every year in high school, trash. I did track, didn't do that well. I was okay, like in cross country, right? Like, and not good. I wasn't good. I was okay, like average in cross country. But that average to me was good because I was bad at everything else. Like, and that's how bad I was. Like, I sucked at everything, nigga. I sucked at everything. So when I finally was decent, like average at something, I was proud of it because I was bad at everything else, nigga. And then I got older, and then like the way I looked at life and the way I felt about life changed. So I feel like at that point, everything I touched turned to gold. Well, everything I ain't gonna say touched, but everything I put my mind to, because I touched, is a very uh is a very un productive way of saying it. No, I had to put the work in. I did more than touch. So everything I put my mind to turned to gold. At least creatively. Maybe not athletically, because I'm not an athlete. Though I can be athletic, I'm not an athlete. You know what I mean? So but anyway, mind you all that uh I wasn't really good at much. So I needed to earn it. And because I earned it, I do not want to go back to where I was when I didn't have nothing. You know what I mean? But for those that did have the red carpet rolled out for them and everything they touched turned to gold, sometimes it can be a hindrance because they feel everything's supposed to be given to them, and it's not. They don't have to work as hard because they never had to work as hard as everybody else. They just had to show up, and they was it. Then when they realize they can't just show up no more, they run into this problem. You know what I mean? No, I'm definitely not the man child, but I can identify with some other people in my life that I can see can be that. So maybe you one of them. Maybe you know somebody that's one of them. Send them this video and send them my video of it so we can get this breakdown. You feel me?
Not because they can't, it is because they won't. The talents and
They won't.
competencies that got them this far eventually come up short, and so they either decide to expose themselves to learning something new that is challenging themselves through making mistakes, coming up short, disappointing others, or they resign into the world of potentiality. I could have been a great artist. I could have been a great writer. In doing so, they avoid the pain of insignificance and simultaneously the anxiety of inadequacy.
Right. They don't want to face the music. They don't want to deal with the heartbreak or the realization that they could or could not have done it. They don't want to deal with the heartbreak of not being able to do it and then realize that they wasn't who they thought they were, or they don't want to deal with the responsibility of doing it and be held at a regard that they don't want to maintain unless they want to maintain it.
This is Neverland, a place where people never grow up. Drugs, sex, alcohol, and high adrenaline ventures numb the twilight callings of something greater. If lucky, they will form a merry band of misfits, other adult children encouraging momentary escape from the fragmentation and restlessness of surrender. Together, these companions along this journey towards nowhere may even keep you there. For one, to escape suggests that the others are wrong, the system is rigged. There's no use in getting disappointed, so let us be petrified together. Due to their magnetism and fantastical thinking, the puer may even turn these connections into the beginnings of relationships. They have a lot of big ideas, and they may even appear ambitious. Music, art, poetry, entrepreneurship, they seduce others with the very same promises they've repeated to themselves through the years. But these ill-fated partners will also discover that this disdain for actuality is not constrained to vocations. Nobody is ever quite good enough. She snores, he lives too far, any excuse to jump ship grows salient with each passing day of togetherness. Because too many days in a row, and God forbid this may actually be the one. And they're too young, and there's too much potential, too much to do. Why limit oneself? In moments of solitude, the puer aeternus may look back at a handful of lovers and feel a deep loneliness. But this is short-lived in the age of dating apps. It is better to distance yourself, slowly and gently. They are in the throes of figuring it out. Because it can be figured out. But first, the puer aeternus must somehow recognize that growing up does not mean losing the feeling of vitality, creativity, or potential that they have become attached to. Instead of this either-or fallacy, such individuals should strive for integration, according to Jung. They must come to understand that maturity, commitment, and responsibility can even become guardians for their dreams and values. But how is this achieved? This involves embracing the courage to be normal. Often we think that being normal is simply conforming or giving up. Riding the bus, taking night classes, working at the grocery store. These are far from the romantic images of a main character in Waiting. But immersing yourself in society means that you are finally recognizing that there are things that are larger than you and more important than you.
You kill the main character syndrome. Like, you realize that you're not the center of the universe, and you realize that you have to get it just like everybody else, but you still have the star power that you were gifted with when you was a kid. So you're still ahead of people, but you have to understand people's lingo so you can move like them. Imagine you have the talent that you have, but you have the everyday hustle of somebody that, like me, had to get it out the mud because they didn't have any other choice. That's where your superpower come in. And trust me, I know people that have done that. They have the talents, they have the will, but they also had the willpower of an everyday person. You gotta do it. Because ain't nobody else gonna do it for you. Alright, so I'm gonna let that wrap up. You know, it's about then about a minute or two left. I gotta get into the next video. It's getting late. Yeah. So remember, hit the like and subscribe button. Join the Prosper gang. You feel me? We are going up. We're gaining more subscribers. The crew is getting larger. The gang getting bigger. You feel me? There's a whole lot of prosperity going on around this mug. Join it. Hit that like and subscribe button. And shout out to Sisyphus55, if I said that right. Shout out to him. Really smart. Shout out to him. I love psychology and philosophy. That guy's my heart. For real. But with that being said, remember, there is nothing impossible to they who try. Unless you're a man child and you just refuse to try. Then everything is impossible. So try. So nothing becomes impossible. Till next time I'm out. Deuce.